And hey everybody, this is
Hello.
a new edition of our Kali Konversation with me, Rick.
And me, Naeem.
And today we wanted to discuss something that has been kind of in my mind, and a couple of people have asked, and there seems to be some confusion. One of the guests that I wanted to come in, she wasn't sure. Well, she said, I don't know anything about FMA or Kali, right? And so we wanted to clear that up for everybody because
Yeah.
we don't talk solely about FMA, Filipino martial arts, as it were.
Yeah.
I mean,
the only connection to that is because that is our base, is Kali. So that's where our training started. But it's evolved beyond that alone. And the Blade of Mind is no longer just FMA as much as more of a learning process.
Right. It's not what we teach, but how we teach. And I wanted to make sure that people understood that a lot of our guests were kind of scratching their head about it too.
I don't know.
When I asked Dennis about it, he was like, "Yeah, there is a little bit of confusion there, so maybe we should
So
kind
we
of
don't
clarify that."
strictly talk about Kali. It's just let's focus more on the conversation part,
Yeah.
which is misspelled with a K, but that's more for fun and because we grew up with Mortal Kombat.
And Bladed Mind Conversation didn't look right. So.
Yeah.
BK is like-
aesthetically just didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kali Conversation is why we called it that. It was more of a tongue-in-cheek thing, I guess.
Right. It's for the
But
humor.
we do, what I'm finding or what I'm realizing that since we started this, the conversations have been going everywhere. It's not limited to just the Bladed Mind.
No.
It's not limited to just FMA.
No.
I mean, look at the guests that we've had on here.
Jimmy is a proprietor of a gym and former Mr. USA.
Right.
Bodybuilder. Bob Gomez has done Kaji Kempo for what, 40 plus
for
years.
so many years. And even, Dennis to an extent really isn't all about the martial arts stuff for himself.
Yeah.
He's more into the philosophy parts of it, which is what I get a kick out of whenever he talks about stuff. Because we can talk for hours and we're like, oh.
Oh yeah, that's a long conversation.
Yeah, no, I love talking with him. You learn a lot of things, and it
Yeah.
isn't just about the martial arts.
No, it can't be. It can't be. Life isn't just one dimensional that way.
And I think, we touched on it several times, even you in the very beginning when you first met me, said, is this all you do? Is this part of the way you live your life?
Yeah.
And I remember telling you, because if you can't if it isn't a dual meaning, then something's wrong with you.
If it's just that one-sided idea, then you only do it in that one instance.
Yeah.
Only during class, only during gym hours.
But I'll tell you, my skills have saved my life a couple of times. I had a van come at me and I parry place trapped it and moved out of the way. Damage done, but still, I didn't end up underneath the vehicles.
Or between the vehicle and the loading dock.
Yeah, well, no, it was actually an airplane, so yeah.
Oh, it was an airplane.
Yeah, I was trying to save the plane. You're crazy, let the plane die. But, so that's what this has been all about for me as far as my journey with all this and why I started the Kali Conversation. When I went over to Naeem's house one day and I said, hey, I got a new tripod and I want to try to shoot stuff. And we just said, let's just have a conversation about what we're doing, the Kali and the Bladed Mind.
Yeah, you asked me a question. You were like, hey, what do you think about this topic?
Right.
And then you're like, hold on. Go.
Yeah, and then, and everybody who saw it, when we presented it out or kind of let our friends speak at it, say, hey, that's some pretty good stuff. You might want to think about, and this is Dennis saying, hey, this is a cool thing. You guys, continue this. So here we are. Obviously, it's a small production.
Oh, definitely.
We're using an iPhone 8 on a rinky-dink tripod and natural lighting, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. we don't try to do anything more than that. But I think it speaks, in a sense, to the way FMA, and I think a lot of martial arts, if you dig deep down into their past, started rinky-dink, a bunch of guys who just wanted to do some
for
stuff.
Filipino martial arts was somebody's backyard or their garage.
Yeah. Usually, the guy teaching is in chancleta, so... and his undershirt.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Filipinos have a way of doing stuff like that where they're just, it was never about opening up a school.
Right.
It was
The
always
big
just,
name is just.
if you had a father that was in the martial arts or doing FMA,
Mhm.
he would teach you stuff,
Right.
and then you would bring one of your friends over.
Hey, can you teach him too?
Yeah.
He liked what he saw.
Yeah, and then that friend brings another friend, and next thing you know, you got a group of guys
Yeah, 6 or 7
stuffed,
people.
stuffed in the backyard or in the garage trying to look stuff, right? And then all of a sudden, Dad had to move it. Okay, let's
we
get
need more space because
Yes.
you guys keep bothering me.
Yeah, and that's how all of these schools started springing up.
Yeah.
And it was like that really back in the '60s and '70s. Because especially up in Stockton, that's where you got a lot of FMA stuff.
Filipino exodus.
Yeah, they went out there to be farmers because
Right.
that's where the money was when they came from the Philippines. They said, all right, we'll do that. And then, it started snowballing. And
It's like,
we
hey,
got
I
San
know this
Francisco.
stuff, and you
Yeah.
know that.
So that was whenever I hear that story, it's kind of cool because it's, it's part of the Filipino culture now that
Yeah, definitely.
this is where it all came from, right?
That transition from
Back in the days in the Philippines, it was very much that you had to belong to a family of people who, it was either your uncle or your
But even before that, the hiding of FMA
Right.
from the Spanish, because they're like, hey,
Oh yeah.
you can't use weapons, you can't hide knives,
Right. So what
You
did they
can't
have to do?
trade
They,
this.
they had to wear see-through clothing.
see-through clothing.
It's called the barong,
Mhm.
and if you've ever gone to a formal Filipino function,
Mhm.
you see these guys with the shirt, but you can see their t-shirts underneath.
Right. They wear
You know.
t-shirts underneath nowadays, but
Yeah.
at what point?
Yeah, and it was for that sole reason so that they could see if you were carrying a weapon or not.
Mhm.
Because they wanted to make sure you weren't going to try to kill
Right,
any
the
Mexican,
Spanish or-
Spanish dignitaries of some sort.
Mexican. Come on, guy. We're
But-
not synonymous,
yeah,
all right?
But yeah, so the culture is really rich in those things. So that's
Well, yeah, it's interwoven into
Yeah.
it, and I think in that sense, whether we intended to, and the truth is, we didn't intend to
right.
any of this. We just were kind of messing around, and it became something.
Yeah, this is how this was born. Me and Naeem just wanted to talk, and we were just going to put this amongst our other students.
Right, just as a teaching tool.
Yeah, and next thing you know, hey, you should do that, and you said this. Okay.
All right, well, I guess so.
And Danny, our founding father, got a kick out of it. He's
You know the video has, you can see the,
Yeah, you can
the
do this,
quotations,
right?
right?
That's why I did that.
Yeah, I know, I saw it.
Danny.
I saw it. Danny. No, founding father.
Founding father. But yeah, and now that we've been doing this for quite a while now, almost a month and a half. Right? It's
Yeah,
been
it
about
was
that
episode 14.
long. Episode 14.
I only know that because you counted. But if you counted clips-wise, because some episodes are 2 clips, some
3
episodes
clips,
are 3
yeah.
clips.
There's about there's
So-
almost 30 clips of stuff.
I know, that's
It's
intense.
amazing. And you can watch the clips individually and still get a lot of stuff out of it.
That is true.
I actually
We
did
talk
it,
a lot.
yeah. Well, you know what? When you're on YouTube, they don't put them in order. When
That's
you're just
true.
clicking on
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
The next one pops
Just
up.
plays.
It's like, okay, cool. Then you start watching that.
Yeah, you have to go to the actual...
The nice thing about these shows or our conversations is that it doesn't matter where you start the video from.
That's true. You
You
get
know,
something from it.
Because you'll always catch something during that topic of whatever's going on. There's really no topic, believe it or not. We just start rambling on, and everybody brings in what their ideas are, or just things that they want to say. Last week,
we don't set up anything. We don't give a script. We don't say we're going to talk for this amount of time. There's no subject that we avoid. Or
and what do I always tell our guests? It's one shot.
One shot.
There are no cuts. There are no redo-overs. Or can we try that again?
Nope.
We don't edit anything out. That's why some of these things go really long, right? Because we don't.
We forget about it. We're like,
Yeah.
how long have we been doing
Yeah.
this?
Oh, look, it's an hour and a half already. So I get it.
We're gonna cut there.
And it becomes an honest conversation.
Well, because that's what we're trying to do, and I think that speaks to the way that we train in the Bladed Mind. Is because once you get past, like we say, it'll take 6 to 7 months to give you all the physical stuff, all the things that we're going to use later on. But I've been doing this for 6.5 years. We're still doing the same stuff we did physically back in the beginning, but it's this that makes it grow. The conversation.
It's the conversations that gives you a better understanding.
Right.
And what is our motto here? The better your understanding, the higher your level is, right?
Exactly.
So we have our levels of understanding, and this is what makes us grow.
Right.
By having these conversations and understanding what's going on during class, then we can advance.
Right, because if you don't push the envelope of your own understanding, the limits of your own understanding, well, then you can do it physically as many times as you want, get it as fast, as smooth as you possibly can.
Right.
But if you don't understand how to use it outside of
Well,
the drill, outside
and
of
that's
the
why it
class,
becomes part of your life. And just like most
yes,
martial arts,
and that's the
most martial arts, that's the circle of life for the martial artists. Is that what they learn in the dojos, they bring outside of the dojo, and it becomes part of what they do normally.
Right.
Their awareness, you know,
Oh,
the way they see things, and how their reactions become.
I forget that I automatically scan hands now.
Yeah, you're like,
it's such an ingrained thing.
well, yeah.
You walk out and you scan like the.
Oh yeah,
the
I always scan the room. Whenever I go to eat, exits.
Exit first. It really does become
Back to the wall.
Yeah, right. Oh.
Yeah.
Back to the door, that's nothing unless I have a reflective surface.
And the fact that we get that paranoid is weird.
But see, that's the thing. It's not paranoia. It's no
It's just
longer
being
me
aware,
being
yeah.
scared of a
No,
situation or
no,
being
no.
like, oh, something could happen, something could happen.
Yeah.
It's more like, if something does happen, I at least have an idea
I already
of
have
where
my
I am.
escape plan. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
an escape
yeah.
plan. But and that's what I love about what we do in this art.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it really gets you set for everything going on around you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've become so cognitive of everything that's happening
Oh, yeah.
that I always tell you guys, what do I say? I see
I
everything.
see everything.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, you're blind as a bat, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But if I see something move,
Right, your body's already geared to, okay, all right, that's nothing to be concerned
I
with.
think that's what we try to build within our students.
Isn't that what you want to build with every
Yeah,
student?
you know, we want them to get comfortable enough to be in their own skin.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, Risa, prime example. She says, yeah, I walk with my head high now. I actually do the whole scanning thing, and you know, and she's just really aware
Yeah, her training
of
regimen is
her surroundings.
intense.
You know, and we're getting that from the other students. Dion, you know, when she had that incident at the park,
Oh, yeah.
same thing. Yeah, he goes, yeah, I saw these guys, and you know, I was kind of
Even Marco, because he was a bit of an awkward kid when he first, well, he's still an awkward kid. But, you know, through high school and his test scores started going up.
Yeah,
he
his mom and dad were really happy
he
at the
started
results.
growing in his social
He said
clubs.
he's starting to
and-
talk to different people.
Right,
Yeah.
he even started doing film. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
again,
Even more so. Yeah, he's
the
really
mental aspect that grows
Right.
is so impactful in your life.
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be something you concentrate on and do it better?
Right.
Like, doesn't that make
Well,
sense?
and I think that's why people get the wrong impression when they read the title of our show as Kali Konversation.
Yeah.
Because they think all we're going to do is talk about, how do you swing an angle 1 or
Yeah.
angle 2, and what do you do with, you know, blah,
It's
blah,
more
blah.
alliteration than anything
And, you
else.
know, they think we're gonna do a kata of some sort to,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
yeah,
do this
yeah.
whole, you know, carenzas and whatnot. But
Well, I hope we haven't misled too many people.
yeah, you know, and the only time that we actually pick up at 6 is to show an idea,
Right.
as opposed to an actual technique of stuff and a drill of something else, whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes the show work, is that people aren't sitting there watching some guys demo something, you know, because I personally have never really liked watching demos on videos, because
Tell me what.
you don't get the full explanation. They usually just show you right here in front of the camera
How to do it.
they're doing a technique or
Right.
whatever it is, but you don't understand what's really going behind it. Even though they try to explain it as well as they can,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still usually lost, because I try to do the moves after I watch the video, and then there's some things that are left out or just neglected, whether they mean to leave it out or not, but it kind of leaves you like,
Like, if you don't have enough of that particular system behind
Right.
you already,
Yeah.
it's hard to understand.
right, and if the explanation is not there,
Right.
then why am I trying to do this? Because is it going to work or not?
What am I getting out of it?
Yeah, you know, and
Right.
that's why I really don't like to do those videos either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we usually tell our students, if you can't remember this, take a video of it,
Right.
but also listen to what I'm telling you about it before you take the video home, so you
Yeah,
understand
right.
what's going on.
Because then the video is not so much to remember the physical stuff, but
Right.
to trigger the ideas of what was being said behind it.
Right? Because if you're just looking at videos, a lot of times, I mean, unless you get a good person who does it, and I've only seen one instructor who was able to show a video, and really you could get behind it and say, okay, I know exactly what's on. That's Bill McGrath. You know, you know,
I figured you were going to say his name.
only because he has the best videos out there.
No,
and
he
that's
does.
Not, and that's
He
not a
does.
knock on anybody
No,
else's
no,
stuff.
no. But it's just he's been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And he's ingrained the idea of getting his point across so clearly
Right.
that it shows in his videos.
Yeah, I saw a video of his today, as a matter of Dirty
really?
Dozen.
Oh,
He showed two of the other parts of the Dirty Dozen.
I couldn't find that video, and I've been
Danny-
about a year ago. I've been looking for it.
Danny shared it, so you should be able to see it now.
Oh,
But it's only two that he shows on there.
Okay.
So don't he never shows all 12.
Well,
There was a time when he did, but he took it down. So
Is that what it is?
yeah,
Okay.
I believe he did because I could never find it again.
No, Danny once said, "Yeah, try to look for it," and I did. I couldn't find anything at all.
But yeah, so other than that, I see a lot of videos. I mean, I think we all have.
Yeah.
We look on the internet. We go, you're on Google and YouTube, and you put your key names in it, and then you try to find stuff. And a lot of stuff that I've seen, and it's hard to watch because it really doesn't depict it very well when they shoot it.
No, it's out of context. So
Yeah.
it's hard to really understand what's going on with everything that they're doing, or you start questioning it to like, wait,
And there's nobody to talk
why would?
to. Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm talking to myself.
No, you're exactly right, and it gets frustrating. So I've kind of stopped watching videos.
Yeah, okay.
Just because I there's not enough of an explanation in any of them to let me know what's really going on.
I kind of take that as a challenge for me personally.
Why do you feel that? Because
Well, no, not what you said, but the idea of watching videos, I kind of take it as a challenge because I don't watch videos with the expectation of truly getting a lot from it, but I do my best to understand as much as I can.
right. Oh yeah.
And,
yeah.
and that's all I really try to do. I try to be more positive.
Right.
But sometimes you can't take anything away from it. Sometimes it's just, okay, that was cool. I don't know what to do with it.
Right.
And that alone, I think, is a good realization to come along when you're trying to learn something.
Right.
So when you're pulling information from different places, I think at one point you have to have enough sense to say, I'm not getting anything from this.
Right. Well, and then there's also conflicts. When you see something and you try to do it, does it conflict with what you do?
Oh, yeah.
And how does that mess you up in that sense? Because if you're doing your thing
Right.
in your system, and you see somebody doing another system, and you're looking at it and you're trying to get it to work,
Right.
what does that do for you? I mean, as far as, does that mess up or hinder anything that
Right. I'm thinking back to Reese's words. You think it's cool, so you want to do it.
Right.
But you don't understand it well enough to do it right.
Yeah. So do you just not do it then?
Right.
And that's why
right.
I've kind of stopped watching videos when I see this. I just kind of, I'll look at it and say, okay, whatever. And then
Yeah, that was cool.
I go to the next one. I don't sit there and try to learn anything. Like you said, you can't learn anything of it because it's really hard when they don't give enough of an explanation. Now, I will watch through it, and if I do get a good explanation, then I'm like, oh, this is a good video, I'll watch this. But for the most part, I haven't seen too many of those. Again, it doesn't knock anything that anybody's doing.
So, do you think that form of medium is just difficult to get that point across? Because, like you said, we don't do that for that reason.
I think the problem with watching those videos, it's two-dimensional.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you can't see if the guy's stepping back with the left leg or the right leg, or when he goes this, is there what's going on with the rest of the
talk
body?
about production, you know, people don't always have...
Yeah, and if they don't zoom in on the right parts of the body and show a lot of cuts to look, look, move the camera here and show
Right.
this and that, it's really hard to see what they're talking about. And that's the biggest downfall of, I remember back in the 70s, there was a lot of DVD videos that you could order, from different schools and become a black belt.
Set 1, 2, and 5.
Yeah, and they do this, but I swear every time I looked at those videos, I was like, I
I'm
don't
lost.
get it. I don't get it.
And you did karate.
Because they only did, they only shot it in one angle, and
Right,
that's
right.
all you got to see, and you didn't know what was really behind it. And again, the explanations.
Wasn't always as clear.
Right, because here's the thing, they're explaining it to people who they thought would know. So what if you bought the video not knowing anything?
Right.
You have no clue as an outward block, inward block, blah, blah, blah. And you're just kind of following through, and it's like, and none of them were ever very clear, so I just didn't.
The set never had a thesaurus
No.
or a dictionary.
No. And that's the unfortunate part.
Right.
So that's why, I really got turned off to videos.
That was always my issue with cookbooks.
Right!
There was certain terminology that I was like,
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. I mean, now I can Google it, but
Yeah.
at one point it was like, I have no idea what that technique is.
How much is a pinch of salt? Right?
I'm a measuring guy. Give me measurements. If I can measure...
and I'm like, oh, too salty. God damn it. You know?
I guess I wasn't a pinch, man.
No.
I wasn't a pinch.
But that's just it, though, you know? And these things that you see, it just, you know, it just turns me off to all those stuff.
Yeah. But, like you said, there are those who do it well.
Yeah, and they're hard to come by, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like I said, I follow Bill McGrath because he has an excellent way of showing. He'll actually show it one way, and then he says, okay.
Turn around
and show it the other angle. Oh, here's what it is on the left side.
And he'll definitely focus on the ideas. Like I say, they'll stop right here and be like, all right, you see that leg right there?
Yeah, he will talk about every segment, and you understood. Okay, oh, I get that. Now I know how that works.
Right.
So that, you know, when you watch this stuff, you'd be like, okay, cool.
You can take something.
You can take something from it. And again, we're not hopping on anybody's video.
It's just it's our preference. And
Yeah,
that's what these videos are about.
Yeah, it's hard to learn anything from something that doesn't give you the entirety.
Yeah, maybe we're spoiled. Maybe we're spoiled in getting things explained. Because again, these videos represent less the martial arts, but more the process that we use for learning. Because our level, or my level as being his student, is no longer doing the techniques. No. Whatever techniques I want to learn, I can do that on my own.
Right.
That's not what this is about, but understanding when and where to use that technique better.
Yeah, and how it really relates to everything else that's going on.
In real time, in the process of things happening and developing. Right. That's the understanding I want.
Right.
Because, and I'm going to quote him bad, but was it Mike...
Cardenas?
No. We saw him at the Ohana. I was his...
Smith.
Mike Smith. He said somebody once told him that if you want to learn how to shoot, you better learn how to take apart that gun and put it back together before you ever go to the range.
Right.
And I love that he said it. And now that's not a direct quote because I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what he said, but that was the gist of it. To understand that weapon long before you even fire it.
Right.
And that's what we are. We're that weapon.
Yeah, we try to make sure you understand fully what you're doing, why you're doing, and how you're doing, and what are the setups for what it is. Yeah, I guess you could really say that is what we're doing. You know, again, we always say it's not what we teach, but how we teach, and that really makes a big difference as far as verbiage is concerned. Then you understand that, oh, I'm trying to learn the mechanics of it all and why this works the way it does.
And now we've gone even beyond that idea. Now the mechanics of the mind.
Yeah.
How does the brain take information? How do you discern what is or isn't a threat, or when you should or shouldn't act?
I think, you know, in the 6.5 years that I've been teaching you, even in our own system, we evolved.
Oh yeah, we don't teach this anywhere near like we did when I first started.
Yeah, I mean, we really had you doing all the legwork stuff. And all the grip things.
I was the beta test.
Yeah, which was fun for me. I got to knock you down all the time.
Yeah, you still do sometimes.
But yeah, it's changed, and it's not that it's taken anything away from what we used to learn. I mean, I think it just made it that much more easier and clear to understand.
Well, these newer students are where I was, you know, three years in the first year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're getting there much quicker. I'm grateful for all the information.
And with the same quality.
With the same quality, yeah. And that's the thing. We're not losing any of the quality behind it. Rather, we're just getting them to understand it that much clearer, that much faster. Right. And also they have me as an instructor instead of just you and Danny. Self-plug.
That's okay. You earned it, I suppose. You know, I'll give you that.
Nah. It's not that I actually believe it, but it is true. They now have 3 instructors versus just the 2. Yeah. But and that's always been my thing. My thing has always been I'm trying to understand. I'm not trying to learn. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to figure stuff out.
And to me, that's always been the best part of this. If you understand it, you know, I said if the brain gets it, the body will follow.
Oh yeah.
And I'm coming to find out that that's what a lot of these guys who are trying to rethink or reimagine their system, that is a key element. I've been hearing that from everybody that we've been talking to, almost in every segment.
In
Say,
one way or another.
Yeah, the mentality aspect has to come first. It has to be complete before it can actually get to the hands.
Right, because that's what's happening with them. They spent all these years doing the physical stuff,
Right.
and now they're realizing, okay, well, why?
Yeah.
What's the mentality behind this? What is the purpose? What is the goal now?
Right.
And now I have to think my way out of this
Right.
and go beyond it. So start backwards. Start with the thought process, and then work out the physical.
You know, I've always felt
Mm-hmm.
that when I'm giving you a lesson, I don't say, Naeem, 1 + 1 is 2. Right? I don't go to this very bit, this thing of keeping it blah blah blah. Because of where you're at and what you understand, I'll say, what am I doing? Right? And you look at that, and you'll look at the rest of my body, where I'm standing, the way I'm delivering that. And based on what I did, you come to your own ideas as far as, because of what you know, you the individual, and how you perceived what was going on, and you recall all the things that you were taught, and you say, oh, is that close range or medium range or long range? Right? Those are your first things. You say, where are you at when you're doing that? Because you just went, wow, but where are you?
My first thought when you did that right now was like, you weren't close enough to hit me.
Right? Because what does it do, right? Me doing that, me making this motion,
Right.
pops open your brain,